through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. And we've got a great lineup for you today. We're going to talk about cryptocurrency. A lot of stuff happening in crypto with Jackson Shembekar in the second half of the show. The Crypto Kid, he's an author, wrote a book called The Crypto Kid. We've got Diane Vance as well. Diane Vance is our mortgage expert contributor, Fairway Independent Mortgage. We're going to talk about some different options to kind of combat some of the different changes that we've seen happening in the real estate and mortgage world. And also a feel-good story of the day. Local activist gives away free gas right here out of Tampa, Florida. So we'll talk about a local poet making an impact in the community. Before we do, we want to let you know about a couple of our hot listings that we've got here in Tampa Bay. We got 14663 Village Glen Drive in Carrollwood. This is a Tampa property, and it's a great opportunity. Beautiful property. It's a pool home right there in Tampa, Hillsborough County. 14663 Village Glen Drive is a gorgeous home right here in the beautiful Tampa Bay area. We've also got another property at 2803 Safe Harbor Drive in Tampa. This is $1 million listing of ours at 2803 Safe Harbor Drive. Gated community, executive style home, 5,200 plus square feet, and it's a gorgeous home that has an elevator, beautiful spiral staircase up to the second floor, very elegant staircase, 5,253 square feet, 5 bathrooms. We've got gorgeous estate style home, estates at White Trout Lake in Carrollwood, spiral staircase, second floor, master suite, granite, large master suite, granite countertops, new appliances, got a heated pool and spa, and a large fenced-in corner lot. Gorgeous property right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we're going right to the phone lines here. We got Diane Vance representing Fairway Independent Mortgage. And Diane, I was looking on TV the other day. I was checking out one of my news programs I watch, and it showed a ticker at the bottom. It said 50-year mortgages coming back to, I forgot if it was what specific country it was, but I believe it was over in Europe.
It's probably maybe Germany or Sweden or someplace. It's really funny because I went over right before COVID, we went to Austria, and Austria is very interesting. When you sell a property, they do it totally different. Like, you have to pay the taxes not only on the sale, but you also have to pay some other taxes. So it's really not worth it to actually sell a property. You almost want to hand it down to your family members. So a lot of these countries have different programs. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are not looking at even 40-year mortgages. We've talked about that. Now, who knows in the future? You know, it just depends on affordability. Interest rates are still very good. They're actually settling down. They kind of went crazy this year. Not really crazy because, my first house was like 8.5, 8.75, I think is what it was. And I got excited when, I started in the business with 11%. So, we always got excited when it went down to 10, 9, 8, back
yeah.
up. So, it's funny how, mortgage interest rates ebbs and flow based on the inflation. And what's happening right now is, the GDP was, not great. And so, it's signs of a recession. I don't know that we're actually in a recession. I don't know that actually anybody has announced that we're in a recession, but that kind of settles the interest rate down because they're trying to control inflation.
Right.
So that's exactly what, and actually we actually had an inverted yield curve this past week with the 10-year and the 5-year, which is not good. So that means interest rates will actually drop a little bit. So they've actually settled down a lot. They're actually a little lower than they were when they actually, when inflation was really, really going. It's still there, but it seems like we're doing things to actually slow it down. So it is slowing down as far as interest rates go. But as far as a 50-year mortgage, if they do that, it would have to be, some of these countries only do adjustable rates that are, monthly or 6 months or something like that. So They could do it in the U.S. I don't know. It just depends on what the future holds. But right now, matter of fact, I belong online to it's called MLO Network, and it actually is, as a matter of fact, somebody mentioned, hey, have you heard about a 40-year mortgage? And so there's some chat about it. It's probably something to do with a 50-year mortgage. But man, I'd hate to see the interest you pay over 50 years. But
right, the affordability is killing people, though.
It is. The affordability is very hard. So you and I, Brandon, were talking about some sellers. If they want to. Because, the market is changing. It's still a seller's market. There's still not enough houses on the market. And that's in Florida. I don't know that's the way it is the rest of the country, but in Florida, we still have people moving here. It's still, still a seller's market. But if a seller wants to sell their house, instead of lowering a price, let's say, it's on the market longer than they want, instead of lowering the price, they could offer to pay what is called pay for a 2-1 buy down. Basically, I'll give you an example. Not that these are current interest rates, but let's say it depends on credit scores for your interest rates. Let's say it's 5.5%.
Right.
That means that your first year you'd be paying 3.5%. The second year you'd be paying 4.5%, and then your mortgage would actually be 5.5%. And you can actually pay that. The seller can actually the buyer can pay that too, but you can actually prepay that, or the seller can actually pay that. So instead of reducing a sales price, I would suggest that the seller do that, because that's going to be more of a incentive for buyers to come in. I don't know that it needs to be done yet, but we are seeing some changes. So as the market changes a bit, then that's just another strategy that people can have. It's a very popular program. We say they still qualify, at the higher interest rate, of course, but it gives them a couple years for a leeway. So that's just an example of how it works. You could also do a 1-1 buy down. So it's just to give them that first year, a little cushion.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for folks to be able to, utilize. So a lot of times you can, depending on how you structure the deal. I mean, and there's also seller concessions. There's real estate. Realtor can give concessions, can help, maybe contribute to some of that. We're talking with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Check her out online, DianeVance.com. Active on social media as well, and representing Fairway Independent Mortgage. Now, Diane, we've spoke before in previous shows about your cash guarantee program. Is that still going strong?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So basically, what happens is for conventional up to $1 million, but it's for conventional FHA VA loans. Actually, VA loans up to $1 million, but other loans are up to $647,200 for conventional, and FHA is $430,280, something like that. It's like some odd number. Anyways, so you can actually get pre-approved with us, and we get everything done. It goes through underwriting. We send off for a cash guarantee. It's a form that's filled out. It's actually part of the contract that goes to the listing agent, and we guarantee that house closes on time, or we will buy their house or give them $10,000. So let's say the buyer loses his job, which, in this world right now, it could happen, right? Let's say he works for a mortgage company and he loses his job.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a joke there, only because there's a couple mortgage companies today that are not making it. But they were announced today in some news. But so they could actually, or let's say they, go out and buy a car, even though we tell them not to buy a car. Mm-hmm. Let's say they do that, and they can't qualify anymore. So we give that offer to the seller so that they are guaranteed that we will close them on time.
Yeah.
But it's very important that the buyer gets approved, because we only give the guarantee if they're fully approved up front, which is, I don't give an approval until, even a pre-approval, until I have all their documents.
Right.
But they can't really be waiting on a house to sell unless they actually have that. Probably won't work, because if they're needing the money for the sale, that's not something that would most likely be a guarantee, but everything else would be. But if they're going to get gift funds, people are always confused about what funds they can use, and I always go over it. They can get gift funds from family members. They can borrow from their 401k. They can use in the IRA. They can use, checking. They can actually borrow against the car. They just can't go out and do a personal loan to purchase a home. So all those things go into the actual approval, and then we go ahead and our legal department does the cash guarantee contract. We send it to the agent, and it's done.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that program. And then we were also talking about down payment assistance programs. That's that's something that people sometimes forget about, or they just think, oh, well, I won't qualify. I know there are some programs that are a little bit more aggressive, it seems to me, than they used to be.
Oh, yeah. So we have the Homes for Heroes that Fairway participates in, and it's 5% of the loan amount up to $25,000 is what there's a whole list of folks that qualify: veterans, medical workers, teachers. I mean, there's so many people that qualify that I almost have to look at the list every time. But there's probably 30 different jobs that are on there. We've actually had a lot of calls about that. So that's a great program to get people into into a home. The nice thing is usually the down payment assistance programs has a cap. This one goes up to $647,200. The income limit for Pinellas County is $123,000 and some odd change. But so it really is a program that a lot of people can qualify for. So police officers, firefighters, medical workers. You don't have to be a doctor. You can be a nurse. You can work at a doctor's office. So you can do all those things. And, there's a lot of different programs out there right now, and that is probably my favorite as far as assistance right now.
Homes for Heroes?
Yep, Homes for Heroes. And it's
Awesome.
through the state of Florida. Now, they set the interest rate. They set the parameters, so there's not a lot of leeway there, but that's called Homes for Heroes.
Yeah, I like it. That's good stuff. Down payment assistance programs available out there. DianeVance.com, Fairway Independent Mortgage, and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty can definitely help you with that. Getting into a home, offering discounts as well for veterans, first responders, teachers, nurses, seniors. We help in any way we can here in the local community. That's why we set this show up to be that local community expert in that local area. Contributor is Diane Vance here for all things finance, mortgage, real estate right here in Tampa Bay. Taking a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk to Diane about the investor market and the renter market, because those are two very kind of counterintuitive when you think about the way they add up. But renters are overpaying right now, and we want to help them. Reach out to the show hotline. Anything you hear on the show, we'd love to put you in touch with our expert contributors or attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, all types of great folks that we can put you in touch with here in the local community. 813-917-1894. Just call or text the hotline. 813-917-1894. Back in a minute with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, awesome. 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer. 813-917-1894. Call or text complimentary scan 813-917-1894 and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at ConsumerQB.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win in your real estate deals when you're buying, selling, or investing. Work with a top 100 ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. $2.1 billion in sales out of our 3 offices last year, and we'd love to help you win. Now, what we do is we feature our real estate listings live on air and help our sellers profit more and sell faster, get you that maximum exposure leading to maximum profit. 1605 South Georgia Avenue, another hot listing in South Tampa. This one is at the kind of the corner of Hyde Park and Palmasea, right where they kind of come together there. Georgia Avenue, beautiful property, almost 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, renovated, beautiful home right here in Hyde Park. Plant High School District, people love that high school district. Stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, walking distance to Bayshore Boulevard, South Howard Avenue, restaurant district as well, granite countertops, gorgeous property at 1605 South Georgia Avenue. Check out PlatinumMVPteam.kw.com for all of our real estate listings. Got a commercial listing at 507 South Prospect Avenue, South Prospect Avenue in Clearwater. This one is right off of Gulf to Bay, 2,600 plus square feet, 12 rooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-story office building, rental opportunity, commercial building, close to downtown, close to the beaches, 10 minutes from Clearwater Beach, new roof, AC, 507 South Prospect Avenue, one of our hot commercial real estate listings, currently operating as an attorney's office, but it could be, of course, anything that you want right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. See all of our listings at PlatinumMVPteam.kw.com.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
And you can also buy dirt. We got a dozen or so vacant land listings here in Tampa Bay. We went under contract on our $4.5 million listing over at I-75 and Fowler Avenue. Over there, they're going to build, looking to build 240 apartment complexes close to USF. So good stuff happening around the Consumer Quarterback Show team. And we've got Diane Vance here on the program. Diane is a wealth of information around the real estate and mortgage side, more on the finance side. Fairway Independent Mortgage. She's a regional manager. And we kind of teased the investor side, and also I wanted to talk to those renters out there, Diane.
Oh, yeah, the renters. As a matter of fact, I just talked to a customer today that has been renting for, 4 or 5 years at this house, and she just got a call today and said, hey, my landlord has decided they're going to sell their house. I have to do something. I'm panicking.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, and then as she's looking around, she's seeing how much more rent is. And I had a call yesterday from somebody that said their rent was going up $400 a month. And that's a lot of rent. And when these people tell me what they're paying, you can buy a place for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be pretty close to what you're paying in rent. Not maybe $100 more or something like that. Maybe you just don't go out to dinner 2 times a month or something like that. But you have your own place. You're building your own wealth because rents. The landlord. Landlords, of course, they're smart because they're renting the houses, but they're going with the market rate is what they're doing. And people also, we have a shortage of rental properties in the area as well as houses. So it's not, we have a lot of people moving to Florida. Yeah. And so they have a lot of opportunity. Landlords have a lot of opportunities. So, if I was a landlord and the rest of the market is going up, guess what? It's your natural thing that you want to go ahead and increase your rents too.
And rents are sticky. Once they go up, they're not coming down.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah. No, you don't see that. Yep. Not typically. You do not see rents. No, you don't really see rents going down. But I had a lady today that I talked to. She was paying like $2,200 a month. I'm like, are you kidding? You need to do something. She's like, I know. Anyway, so yes, so it's definitely very expensive. I read somewhere that Tampa Bay is in the, I want to say the top 10 rental markets in the country as far as rent increases.
Yes,
so,
I saw that too.
For a long time we were probably under the national market. Now we're catching up. So, I mean, it's just not here; it's all over. But I mean, there's a lot of places that it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So
Miami-Dade is big, really expensive down there.
Yep, people need to really think about, hey, can I come up with a few $1,000s, or so. I was talking to the person today. She's going to do the Homes for Hero program, and I told her, I said, well, what you have to remember is that you probably paid a deposit, and when you close, let's say you close in August, your first payment isn't due to October 1st, so you don't have to pay rent on September 1st, and you don't have to pay your mortgage payment on September 1st.
Yeah.
So really and honestly, you do have a few $1,000s extra. Not extra, but that you could use. So people don't really realize that. But, it's definitely lot rents. It's great for landlords. But
Yeah, that's right. And that's where you're seeing these hedge funds coming in. I always go off on that tangent about, I hate these big hedge funds. They're taking government preferential deals and buying up this inventory, and it's hurting the people that we care for about this show, especially on this show. The hardworking folks, the blue collar, even white collar folks, as you mentioned, the veterans, the medical, the teachers, the fire department, the nurses. Those folks, they're the contractors, self-employed. I mean, these folks are out there working every day, sweating and making deals happen, and doing good for the community, putting back in the community. Then you have these big hedge funds coming in, Wall Street money. A lot of times, getting preferential deals from the government, 0 to 0.25. They're getting these loans, and you got $10 trillion companies like BlackRock. Some of these companies coming in and buying up inventory, and then making buyers or renters rather compete. And unfortunately, they're jacking up the rents. So rent versus own is topical right now, Diane. We can do a rent versus own for them and show them, we'll do a pre-approval form. We'll give them a rent versus own, and it'll break down the numbers for them and say, hey, here's what you were paying in rent versus what you could be paying and buying your own home, owning your own home, building up equity every year, taking advantage of that appreciation, taking advantage of the tax write-offs, and then also owning your home, that whole mindset that changes that emotional connection that you have with your property, and your family also has that. Your kids are going to love it.
Oh yeah, so the kids, they've actually shown studies that children that live in a home that is there, they feel more stable, and because they aren't moving every couple years because the rent became outrageous. So they have more stability, they're happier. It's actually been shown that families do much better when they actually own their own home.
That's right.
And they feel a sense of accomplishment. Even if you don't have a lot of down payment when you start, eventually that home will appreciate.
Yeah, think about the children, constantly getting uprooted. They're losing their friends in the neighborhood that they would ride bikes with, or whatever. The play dates. So yeah, that's a big point to think about. And then we got about 30 seconds left here, Diane. I'm going to kick it back to you. Talk about how folks can engage with you and direct them to your site and everything.
Yeah, so my website is my name, DianeVance.com, and that is my Fairway website. And if you go on there and you apply for a mortgage, I will get back to you, or my assistant will, and we will get you pre-approved. Or you can call 727-647-8199. You can text, call, or if you go through the show, I will also get that text. So if you want a rent versus own analysis, I can do that quickly. And, that way you can see it in writing.
Excellent. All right, Diane, thanks so much. Appreciate that.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff today. Homes for Heroes, down payment assistance programs, cash guarantee program, $10,000 or they'll buy the home. A lot of good stuff. DianeVance.com. Coming back, we've got the crypto kid, Jackson Shembekar, in the house. We're going to talk all about crypto, how the Federal Reserve plays into that. What's the catalyst? What's driving these dips and rises with crypto? We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group. and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Always helping you win in your real estate deals when you're buying, selling, or investing. And we like to feature our real estate listings. So we got a hot property listing here in Clearwater. This one's 1009 Woodley Drive. This is a beautiful home. It's been completely remodeled, renovated on the interior. Gorgeous kitchen with a huge island. And it's about 1,400 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath at 1009 Woodley Road in Clearwater. Got a chef's kitchen with granite countertops, oversized island, double oven, cathedral ceiling in the garage. Got a new AC, big backyard for perfect for a pool, and it's close to the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of Clearwater Beach. 1009 Woodley Road in Clearwater. One of our hot listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Also, 14663 Village Glen Drive in Carrollwood. This is a beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath property with a pool, outdoor kitchen, and a spa. Fenced-in property as well. 14663 Village Glen Drive in Carrollwood. 2-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 1,951 square feet. This is Carrollwood Village. Gorgeous and completely renovated. Outdoor pool and kitchen, covered lanai, outdoor shower. Master bath features a jacuzzi tub, sauna, and tanning bed. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, we got our friend Jackson Shembekar back in studio. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you for having me, Brandon.
My pleasure. Good to see you. Jackson wrote the book as well, The Crypto Kid. I'm holding it up to the camera if you're watching our TV show version of the program on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, maybe YouTube or Facebook. You can see his book there as well as online. But I wanted to ask you, there's a lot of stuff going on in the crypto world, man.
Absolutely.
It seems kind of interesting. So we were kind of talking a little previous, what's the catalyst when you're looking, trying to indicate or trying to figure out, hey, where's this going? Crypto going up or down today or this week? What are some of the key indicators?
For sure. I kind of approach that question from a macro standpoint. You have to think about all the big companies involved in cryptocurrency. Mm-hmm. What are they doing and why are they doing it? So you think about some of these big bulls like MicroStrategy and Tesla and these big companies, Square, that are purchasing Bitcoin in large quantities. These guys' views are not really going to change. So then you have to take a step back and say, well, what are the retail investors doing? And one of the big indicators I use, actually, and it's a very simple one, it's not an actual fundamental indicator, it's when are more and more people my age, older than me, people that are not in crypto, when are they approaching me and asking me questions? Because typically, when they're approaching me and asking me questions, the price is high, the price is trending. Yeah. That's typically your time to sell. And when nobody's calling me, when nobody's asking me, when the only people that are calling me are about worrying, that's typically the time to buy, right? Because those are the overall trends there.
That's right.
So I think that's a great perspective on how to really analyze the market to see where is the energy really going, right?
Yeah.
So people talk about RSI all the time. It's called Relative Strength Index. And you can look at that on different time frames, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour a day. And then there's big macro investors that look at it on the day, 7-day, and full month chart, right? And a big gauge, I think, is just the amount of interest in the supply, right?
Right.
It's all based on supply and demand. And so that's why people often look at Google Trends. How many people want to learn about a given topic at a given time? So I think it's a great way to approach it to see where is the hype per se really at. Is it about Bitcoin right now? Is it about the altcoins? Is it about different networks? And why, right? Why is that there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Where's the attention going? Where's the focus going? Where the focus goes, the energy flows. So you mentioned RSI.
Yes.
What is that again?
Relative Strength Index.
Relative Strength Index.
Yes, it's one of the big key trading indicators that a lot of different traders use. So when you're trading, typically if you're doing technical analysis, you will use a whole slew of different indicators. Mm-hmm. Now, I warn people in technical analysis all the time because over 90% of traders lose money. For the most part, unless you're going to be doing this full time, and when I mean full time, I mean that means a full trading day on top of getting up at 5, 6, 7 a.m. and putting in your research, reading the Financial Times, reading the Wall Street Journal, reading Cointelegraph if you're in crypto. You have to be on it, right? Think about all the big hedge fund managers that are wildly successful, right? Take away the fact that they have enormous capitals where they get to almost control the market, right? And you take away the morality of that, what are they doing? They're putting in 10 times the effort of your normal retail investor. And I think that's a big key point in that you not only are you using RSI are using every indicator in there, right? They're looking at Bollinger Bands and saying, where is the volatility? Why is it closing down now, and why is it opening at different points?
Right.
And when you're actually able to know that and utilize all the different indicators, that's where that real strength in trading is going to come in.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. We're talking with Jackson Shembekar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. He's a crypto expert, wrote the book called The Crypto Kid. And we had mentioned earlier the Satoshi milkshake experiment. Tell me about that.
You got it, yeah. The Satoshi milkshake experiment, I think it was a very, very interesting experiment. Happened just recently. And what happened is basically this guy that knows a decent amount about crypto was hired to come in and talk to a class of kids about cryptocurrency. What is it? Why is it important? Just your basic kind of teach-in lesson, right? And it was very interesting, I thought, because in this new age, I mean, this thing is just 12 years old. It's a new technology that most adults don't even understand, and they were teaching it to kids. I thought that was fascinating.
Where was this at?
It was in America, but I couldn't tell you the state. Okay. But I think he did very, very well with it. And so what happened was, and these are 6-year-old kids. This is a first grade class.
6-year-old.
Yeah,
okay,
6-year-old. This is not high school, literally. Okay. So he's coming in, he's telling these kids about Bitcoin, kind of gauging the classroom on who knows what, right? So most of the kids have never heard of it. Some of them have. And out of the whole class, one kid actually knew that there was a 21 million hard cap. Wow. So you could extrapolate, maybe his parents are into it a little bit. He's heard the talk in the home, right?
That's funny.
But I thought it was very cool. And what the instructor did was ran a little experiment. He gave every single kid a little Bitcoin card with $6 worth of Bitcoin on it. And there's more to this, and the reason that that's important is because people are often like, well, wait, Bitcoin card, right? $6 on the card, how does that work? You need a wallet with signatures. How does that work? And the reason that works is because it was on the Lightning Network, which I thought was, again, very interesting. He's utilizing the Lightning Network. Okay. And the Lightning Network on the Bitcoin blockchain is an off-chain network. It's used for efficient, fast, and low-fee transactions.
Okay.
And I think that's also very cool because it defeats the Bitcoin scalability issue. And that's a big issue that people have been talking about, that as more and more transactions build up, how is we, a society, how are we going to adopt that on a large scale? Mm-hmm. And it proposes a very big question, right? Visa handles hundreds of millions of transactions every day, right? How does Bitcoin compete with that? Because we can't handle hundreds of million transactions a day. But what we can do is when you're at Chipotle and you order your $9 bowl, right? You can use the Lightning Network to pay for it. Rather than waiting for something that takes 6 confirmations on the Bitcoin blockchain, high fees, right? It's rather inefficient. And I've said this all the time, that while I do think Bitcoin as a technology is very proprietary and it has a lot of use cases, it is obsolete, no doubt. It really is obsolete. And so what this network does is it transforms that obsolescence into something that can actually be utilized today. Now, it's still very small, though. I must stress that because it's used for small transactions, only roughly 4,000 Bitcoin are operating on the Bitcoin Lightning Network. So that's another interesting thing. But back to the experiment, what he found was that these kids, it's a class of just 27 kids, and 5 kids spent their Bitcoin on milkshakes, right? They spent their $6 on the milkshake, and the other 22 held it.
Okay.
And that was a big concept because it's the HODL theory, right? Hold on for dear life. Let's just hold it. Yep. And let's say, hopefully, that this $6, right now we're in a bear market, hopefully the $6 is $12 later, right? But that was very fascinating because you compare that to the Stanford marshmallow experiment. And let's go back a little bit. Out in California, this was years and years and years ago. Very, very popular experiment. I think it went viral at the time. What they did was a researcher came in the room, and again, same sample size, same type of people. He gave marshmallows to the 5-year-olds and said, this is what we want to do. Here's a marshmallow. I'm going to leave the room for a bit, and when I get back, you're going to get a second marshmallow. But if you didn't eat the marshmallow.
Got it.
But if you eat the marshmallow, then you can't get a second marshmallow. Yeah. So the whole test is delayed gratification, right? And the majority of the kids ate the marshmallow, right? And there was different subset of kids where there's some group of kids where the second the researcher leaves, they eat the marshmallow right away.
Right.
Then you have some where they really tried to resist the urge, but then 5 minutes later they gave in. And then you have the third group where they completed the task. 15 minutes later they get 2 marshmallows, and they ate both the marshmallows. And they tracked those kids' learning behavior over more than 20 years, which was very interesting.
20 years.
And they found that one of the, I think it was actually 40 years, but I'm gonna stay safe with the over 20.
Okay.
And what they found was that delayed gratification was one of the top indicators for future success in the business world.
Yeah.
I found that very interesting. And going back to the Lightning experiment now with the milkshakes, it showed how these kids viewed it as delayed gratification. Because all of the kids wanted a milkshake, right? But some kids said that, hold on, I'm just going to listen and hold on to this card and hope that I can get 2 milkshakes in 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, whenever that time frame is. And that time is very interesting because there's so many kids, they just want their milkshakes, right? But they were able to hold on to that and utilize the network and hopefully have that mindset of something can grow in technology.
Wow. Yeah, that reminds me also that the marshmallow experiment with the 5-year-old kids, the 20-year study, it reminds me of another study that I heard about in a book. It was Dr. Edward Banfield from Harvard. He conducted a 40 or 50-year study, and he wanted to know what was the key indicator for people being successful versus some that don't.
Yep.
And after this long-term study, he found that the number one key indicator for people that were more successful, moved up that socioeconomic ladder, was long time perspective.
Absolutely.
So very similar. It's funny, so the more that we look into the future and then kind of future pace and then come back and say, okay, what do I need to do to hit this mark? Now I'm going to hit that mark, my 10-year goal, my 5-year goal.
No doubt, for sure.
It's cool. That's interesting.
I completely agree. I think you can tell a lot about a person financially, right?
Right.
Based on the time frame that they look at their investments.
Yeah.
And investments or lack thereof, right?
Right.
If they're thinking how much money am I going to make today versus in the week, right? You can kind of see where they're at. If they're focused on just today, probably not doing that well. If they're focused on weekly, maybe they have a job, they collect their paycheck at the end of the week, okay, that's fine. Is it semi-weekly? Is it once a month? Okay. Is it once a year, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that if you really, really expand that thought process, the people that really care about their earnings on the yearly, 5-year, 10-year, that's what ends up being more important.
Yeah, and even Tony Robbins, one of my favorites, says that human beings overestimate what they can accomplish in a year. When December 30th rolls around and we start setting those New Year's resolutions, and we significantly underestimate what we can do in 5 years.
I agree, for sure.
The psychology of a human being, right?
Yes.
It is. It's interesting. And then I was just thinking about the chapter in your book, too. We were talking about when it says, so the qualities you need to become a good investor. Number 1, patience. 2, competency. 3, instincts. And then number 4, ignore the short term.
Yes, for
sure. Kind of goes hand in hand with that.
Absolutely, yeah. Ignore the short term really comes in there. And I'm going to tie it in a little bit with everything there. That when you are competent, when you're a competent investor, that acknowledges that you're doing the research and you're putting in the time for an investment decision. You're analyzing this company, this business, this product, and saying that I'm going to invest in it because I believe that it is undervalued today. That's all an investment is, right? You're saying that this company is worth X, and I believe that at the moment, it's less than X.
Yeah.
That's it. And so if you can ignore the short term on that and say that as long as nothing is fundamentally changed about your investment decision, that means that you're going to be correct in the long term. But you have to have perspective and say that unless something changes about your investment decision, if the CEO steps down and a new, worse leadership comes in, if something about the coin changes, if something about anything changes, then that's fine and you can reevaluate. Anything like that, yes. But if it does not, and you are competent, right? Because you have that's a big assumption, right? If you're not a competent investor and you don't do sound research, then everything goes out the window.
Yeah.
But with that first assumption, kind of an if-then statement, if you are competent, you can do that, and you're confident in your abilities, then I think it unlocks any door where you should stick with your decision and say that X will happen because of Y, Z, right? There's always a back end on that because the long term is going to come in. It's just, can you get there sooner or later? Yeah. That's the only question.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, coming right back. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Jackson Shembekar here in studio, author of The Crypto Kid. Reach out to the show if you'd like more information about crypto. 813-917-1894. We'll put you in touch with Jackson and his team. 813-917-1894. Coming right back, more with The Crypto Kid here in studio. Plus, our feel-good story of the day, local activist gives away free gas. Tampa Bay poet and activist spreading his faith, giving back to the community at the same time. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, everybody, it's the Captain, Matt Bruce, and you're listening to my buddy, Brandon Rhymes, a Consumer Quarterback. Sell, Brandon, sell.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Hot listing in South Tampa, 4220 West Pearl Avenue in Tampa. This is a $964,000 listing from the Platinum MVP team. Commercial property on a corner lot in South Tampa at Pearl Avenue. You've got a 1,200 square foot building for your office. It's mixed use, 0.6 acre lot, corner lot location, ample parking. Great opportunity to relocate your business, contractor, or other type of business at 4220 West Pearl Avenue. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, so we've got a Tampa Bay poet and activist spreading his faith and giving back to the community at the same time. George Williams II has been a poet for the past 16 years. He's been spreading his word and his faith through the spoken word. He says, quote, "When I first started doing poetry at 23, I found myself in the nightclubs doing open mics. I would pretty much do poetry in there and share the gospel through poetry methods," end quote, said Williams. "And I learned maybe I can use my poetry as a means to reach the urban culture and places unchurched. So I found my calling is more for the streets than it is the buildings." With that in mind, Williams, along with his wife Whitney, wanted to find ways to give back to the community. For the past year, they've been working on a gas giveaway, and they partnered with a local Wawa. They gave away $1,000 in gas money, help families, and also ended up giving away $2,000 of gas. And it's amazing to see the stories. He says. You had a mother there, single and with 6 kids. She was struggling. She broke down. Just seeing the seniors living on Social Security, living on a fixed income, and there are so many people moved with the generosity. Williams believed he created to be a position to help those in need. And there you have it. There's our feel-good story of the day. Local activist gives away free gas. All right, Jackson Shembekar is in the house. He's the author of The Crypto Kid, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff you got going on. You got some NFL connections now with NFL and some of your crypto.
For sure, yeah. What we've done is we've had a slew of people from the NFL and the Alumni Association there. So you have real guys that have won Super Bowls and they're retired and they've done extremely, extremely well. And they kind of want to get into this new industry. And they have extensive amounts of data, extensive amounts of interesting data where you get to use that and kind of license it and kind of market it, right? Because these are players where now that they're out of the league, they're still very well connected to the league. They just don't play on the field, right? Right. And so we've reached out to some friends, and I met Najee Good, a connection in New York City a couple months ago, and we finally came to an agreement where during the NFL Hall of Fame Alumni Association week, what we're going to do is on that, the new inductees are going to come in, and we're going to have a 50-50 rev share split where he is going to license one of my NFTs and use the NFT for merchandise and for marketing. And it's very cool because the NFT is the #1 blue chip project. It's the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I've talked about it on here before. Yeah. And so one of my monkeys that is aesthetically pleasing subjectively, right? They're going to throw the NFL Alumni Association logo on the ape. Wow. And then they're going to also have many other spinoffs. So what they're going to have is a player that is loaded up with tattoos. We're going to put tattoos on the monkey, right? Huh. And then we'll license it as his version of the ape. A player that wears funky glasses. We're going to put the funky glasses on the ape. So we're going to do whatever change we need to make it personal. And then we're going to market it such that we can have different products to go with that. Okay. Right? And that's going to be the first step that we're doing. So we're going to put those on footballs and sell the footballs. We're going to put them on t-shirts and sell the t-shirts, right? That's just phase 1. Then phase 2 is we're going to have a derivative project, something off-chain from the Bored Ape Yacht Club, but something that will be, I think, pretty cool because what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to add things to those personal NFTs. So we'll change the NFT and then say, if you buy this NFT, if you mint the NFT that is, then you get 2 Super Bowl tickets. Then you get access to 5 games. Then you get whatever else you want. you get maybe a signed Bucks jersey by Tom Brady, if that's the NFT, right? So there's a bunch of different ways we can do this. And we finally have it done where I can give them exclusive access to the product. The product should hopefully drive sales, being that it's such a popular product. And it brings attention to both me and the NFL Alumni Association.
Yeah.
And ideally, it'll be lucrative on both sides, and that's the deal that we've kind of come to and how we structured it.
Yeah, and each one of those different, for the Bored Ape example, each one of those different styles and looks is in essence, the NFT, trying to relate it for the audience, is a work of art. It's a one-of-a-kind, unique work of art.
And I think that's the one of the coolest things, because it goes back to what an NFT is. It's still a digital collectible.
Yeah.
And so that NFT will be able to be held in someone's wallet forever. And there still will be a resale value associated with that. So I think it's very cool because people get to participate in that, and we as creators get royalties on the back end as well. So it's a win-win for everyone. And if you don't want to participate, you don't have to. It's still just consumerism, which I think is very cool.
I like it. And then, so we talked about licensing NFTs.
Yes.
And then risk of staking.
Yeah, so to jump into staking, it's been a big topic for a while, right? And so what staking is it's just the mechanism behind proof of stake. And so the big two mechanisms that people talk about in cryptocurrency are proof of work and proof of stake. So proof of work is how miners bring new, let's use Bitcoin as the example, new Bitcoin into the ecosystem, right? And the hard cap is 21 million. We're just over 19 million at the moment. So we've got less than 2 million left of new Bitcoin that will come in the ecosystem over the next 100 plus years. The last Bitcoin to be mined will be in 2140. So that proof of work mechanism, while it's very, very useful, and it's not necessarily efficient, it wastes a lot of computational power. Now, I would still be on the argument side where the computational power is benefiting society as a large, and that even though we're expending it, it's done for a good use. But the other argument is that we should switch to proof of stake, which is far more efficient. And the reason is because it's done by validators who lock up their Ethereum and then validate transactions on the blockchain. And the idea is that if you go against it, you simply lose your escrow. And the whole thing in cryptocurrency is that everything has to be financially incentivized, because if it's not, the integrity of the network will be compromised, no matter what, right? Who doesn't want to make money, right?
Yeah.
And
Why would you do it if not?
Exactly. And so miners are incentivized by spending their power, which they have to pay for in electricity, for new minted Bitcoin, right? And that's the trade-off there. The trade-off here is that you get to stake and you get rewards on top of those staking pools, which is very, very big, right? So what has happened is that a lot of people stake their Ethereum, right? And now there is a minimum staking requirement. So we're talking about significant amount of Ethereum here. And we're talking about retail investors as well. People that bought the GPUs, they set it up, they're tech-savvy people. And what has happened in this crash is that a lot of people found that they were over-leveraged. It's a common theme in crypto because the volatility is so big. People always say don't invest what you're not willing to lose, but a lot of people still do it anyway, right? And what we've found is that in the last 6 months, stakers have lost 36%, 35.6% more than ordinary Ethereum investors, which is an enormous amount, right? It's just been absolutely brutal to the staking community.
Wow.
But the issue is that you can't liquidate positions, and not that I would advise to do that anyway at this point, because right now I think it's a big buying opportunity.
Right.
But the big problem is that the Ethereum is locked up. And so people have done this over the long term, right? Because the idea is stake it, build rewards on it, and we can choose to unlock 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road, right?
Okay.
But what's happened is that in the short term now, this crash is unanticipated by a lot of people, at least the severity of it, right? Where Ethereum's 2K and below, where we're at 5K less than a year ago, right?
Right.
That severity is just not
so
something
over
that
50%.
Yes,
down.
for sure. Way more than 50%. It's become a rewind of what happened in 2018. And 2018 was 80%, right?
Wow.
And so we're approaching those numbers where this is just the repeat, right? This is the crash of 2022. It's going to last probably through, I would say, through 2023. However, I do think we'll have a recovery in Q3 and Q4. But it's not, we're at least what we're looking like, right? For if historical sector rotation patterns repeat, it's looking like a strong bull recovery won't happen until 2024, 2025. And that goes along with the halving date in 2024 and the subsequent 6 to 18 months afterwards.
We got to start wrapping here, but tell us how people can get in touch with you, your websites, your Instagram.
For sure, yeah. The website is thecryptokid.com, and you can always reach out to me personally on Instagram. I read all the DMs. It's Jackson Shembekar, last name Shembekar.
Jackson Shembekar, the Crypto Kid.
You got it, Brandon.
The Crypto Kid. Hey, good stuff, man. That's a really cool analysis. You know, honestly, I probably picked up about 80% of that.
Yeah, no worries.
but yeah. So hey, you got to reach out to Jackson if you're interested in crypto. A lot of good stuff to learn. It's an emerging market, or it's a market that you should learn more about. And also thanks to Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Homes for Heroes, down payment assistance programs, and more. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness kindness, do something kind for one another, and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time. Check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.